This might be IKEA's coolest lamp, and it just got smarter. And in this video, I will show you how you can build that yourself with ease. Let's jump right in.
Smart home maker, rock the beat. Innovation at your feet. Build it up, don't complicate. Home solutions, you're the mate.
What do we need to get this project started? First of all, we need, of course, an IKEA FADO sphere lamp. This is the basic ingredient we need for that project. Furthermore, we need a Wemos D1 Mini ESP8266 or ESP32. I built the project for the ESP8266. You could also even use another kind of ESP32 or ESP8266 dev board, but then just the dimensions are not perfectly suited for the housing that I have created. Then we also need a triple axis accelerometer. In my case, I chose the LIS3DH, which is something that I still had at home, but it is not ideal, to be honest, because it is not natively supported by ESPHome. And if you would ask me, I would recommend you to use a accelerometer that is natively supported already by ESPHome, because there are some boards that are already supported natively by ESPHome, so that makes everything much easier, because in that case here I needed to address the registers directly in order to be able to read out this board, and this is not perfect because it's a lot of extra work. Then you need an addressable LED ring. In my case, I chose the WS2812 16-bit addressable LED ring. You need optionally a photoresistor module. I use that to identify the room brightness and use that maybe for further automations later on to automatically turn on the lamp if the room brightness goes below a certain threshold. Makes the whole lamp a little more smart, but it's optional. You don't need it for the tapping feature. Then you of course need some possibility to 3D print the housing for the electronics that I built, which is placed below the IKEA FADO lamp. But you could also 3D print that at an online service for 3D printing. No problem. Then you need some jumper wires and a USB cable for powering the Wemos. And you need some 1 to 3 jumper wires, or at least that's what I recommend to you, because I used these specific 1 to 3 jumper wires. So they have on the one side 1 plug and the other side 3 plugs. This is very helpful. For example, if you have 3 different components that need a ground line and on the board you only have 1 ground pin, then you can use this 1 to 3 jumper wire to provide ground line for all of these 3 components. But you could also build that yourself, something like this, what you see here. This is, of course, also a lot of extra work if you have to prepare all these cables. Then you also need to find an insulation for the soldering part. So it's not perfect. That's why I decided to just buy 1 to 3 jumper wires. Then it's much more clean and less extra work. The first thing I tried before using the 3-axis accelerometer was to use a piezo pickup. But then I realized it doesn't work like I expected it to work. So that's why I switched to the 3-axis accelerometer to catch the tapping. Now let's have a look at the wiring scheme. What you can see here is the wiring scheme of the basic components. In the center of this architecture is the Wemos D1 Mini, which is controlling everything, and we connect the different components to it. We connect the addressable LED ring. Here we have to make sure that we use the power line 5 volts. We also use the ground line, and that's what I meant. Here we need these 1 to 3 wires so that we can use this 1 ground pin on the Wemos D1 Mini to support 3 different components which have a ground line. And then we also have a data in. In my case, I chose the D4 port on the D1 Mini. You could use any other port as well, but you need to adjust the ESPHome code then. Then we have the LIS3DH accelerometer. This one is connected via I2C. So we connect the 3.3 volts voltage source. We could also connect the 5 volts. I think this is what you like more because it supports both. We need to connect the ground line And we need to connect the SCL and SDA. And here you can see that for the SCL, I chose the D1 pin, and for the SDA, I chose the D2 pin on the Wemos D1 Mini. And then the last component we can connect optionally is the photoresistor. Here we have to connect power line. I also connected it to 3.3 volts. We have to connect ground again, and we have to connect a signal line. And here this signal line goes to the analog input of the Wemos D1 Mini to the A0 pin. The first thing I did was to design a base which actually resembles the original IKEA FADO base in terms of dimensions, but is able to keep all the electronics, especially also hold the LED ring. This is how it looks like. A link to the STL file to be able to print it yourself can be found on my blog. And after I had designed it, I throw it on my 3D printer to print it and to try it out. So according to the wiring scheme, I put all the electronics in and also placed the LED ring on top, and then I needed to implement the software first in order to try it out. And here is an overview of the ESPHome code for the IKEA Smart FADO lamp. First of all, we give it a name, of course. Then we have to define the I2C bus with the ports D1 and D2 of the Wemos D1 Mini, as you saw in the wiring scheme. We also define some globals. Here's specifically the address of the LIS3DH. And then we have some code that is fired up on the boot of ESPHome. And this is very important for making the tab work, because this is where we initialize the registers of the LIS3DH. And the reason we need this is because this board that I'm choosing is not yet supported natively by ESPHome, as I had already explained in the beginning. But if you have a board that is already natively supported by ESPHome, this might save you a lot of work. So you could just use that built-in functionality of ESPHome, and then you don't need to set all these registers manually, as you can see here. So I don't want to go into detail how this works, because I think that's not so important, because either you just copy it and use it, or you just use your predefined module that supports your 3-axis accelerometer. And also on the boot up, we turn on the light with a lower brightness for the beginning. So that means when you plug it in the first time, it will, after this initial setting of the registers, automatically turn on the light. Then we define the board, which is the D1 Mini. We have all these standard options for OTA, captive portal, and Wi-Fi. Then we have a script. This script actually just toggles the FADO lamp. And then we have the light component. This is the actual light component that controls the NeoPixel bus light ring. So this is our 16-bit light ring, so 16 LEDs, which are connected on pin D4, which is the GPIO2. And I give it the name FADO, because that's actually the name of this product from IKEA. Yeah, we define the type and the variant. The variant is WS2812. And we use the ESP8266 UART1 method to control it. That is important to set it. Then we have a default transition length and some gamma correction. And I have defined some effects. So those are standard effects here. And then I have some custom lambda effects, like some candle flicker, police nights. This was just for playing around. Some star sparkles and a lava lamp effect. But you can be really creative here. You can create any kind of effect that you like. So just play around with it and you will find a lot of cool effect ideas that you can use. Then we come to this very important part which is the interval checking whether there is a tap event registered. So this will be fired every 10 milliseconds and it will go through all of these steps. And during these steps it will read out the 3-axis accelerometer and will check whether there is a tap event registered. And if there is a tap event registered, it will toggle the FADO lamp by executing the script that we have defined earlier, which has the idea toggle FADO. It was this one here, as you can see. And this is the last part here. This is actually the room brightness sensor, which is using this photoresistor that is optional. So if you have connected it, you need to use this piece of YAML code in order to be able to also read out the room brightness via pin A0. That's why pin A0 is also very important, because we use the analog digital converter for this feature. Now that's it. We can now just compile this and then flash it onto our Wemos D1 Mini ESP8266. After I had successfully compiled and flashed the code onto the ESP8266, I was able to do some first tests, and actually the tapping feature worked quite well. But I realized that the design of the holder that I made is not ideal, because it is kind of open. So that means all the wires are kind of open, and also the LEDs of the Wemos D1 Mini as well as the 3-axis accelerometer are shining through the glass sphere. So that is not ideal. So you could see some of the wires as kind of shades on the glass sphere, and also you could see the LED lights of these sensors and of the Wemos D1 Mini on the glass sphere. So I needed to find some solution for that. And yeah, the first thing I did was to build a housing, an additional housing, which kind of shields all the electronics, like the Wemos D1 Mini and the cables. And actually the only sensor that still needed to be outside of this housing was the accelerometer, because the accelerometer needs to be able to kind of touch the glass. So for that, I decided that I will go with gaffer tape in order to make sure that the LED will not shine through. And putting that together, this additional housing and the gaffer tape on the 3-axis accelerometer, led to the situation that we have a very good solution that works very well. Now, there was only one challenge left, and that is, how do I attach this bottom base to the glass sphere actually? Because I was only able to just place it above, but we needed some solution to stick it to the glass. And for that I chose magnets. So I took some neodymium magnets and placed them on the glass sphere and also on the bottom housing. I just glued them there, and with that I had a very good solution that now sticks directly to the glass sphere, and I can always also take it off if I need to access the electronics. So this is a very good solution, and I'm very happy with this. I hope you like this little project, and if you like it, then please also follow my channel for further projects and also watch my other videos. See you next time. Thank you.